you have now started production of the Gravity SUV at your factory in Arizona. What is demand looking like for the Gravity, your second vehicle now in production?
We have indeed. I was honoured to drive the first car off the line just last week, and things are looking really positive. I'm really delighted with some of the numbers I'm seeing.
So the orders are coming through for the Gravity.
Absolutely.
You're confident.
Absolutely.
Project that into 2025 for us. What is that telling us about the momentum you are seeing for this crucial vehicle for you and the team at Lucid?
Yeah, well, this is a big step up for us. We're going from a one-vehicle company to two, and we're going to get that TAM, that total addressable market, for the SUV, which is what America's gone crazy about. So we're really looking forward to that with great enthusiasm. But we need to temper that because we need to grow the volume in a very structured manner to ensure the quality is right. And the first cars will be destined for our sales studios and for test drives. It'll be once we've done that, we amplify the message, then we'll start delivering to real customers.
So how aggressively do you expect to be ramping up production in 2025 for the Gravity? What kind of numbers can you give us in terms of targets?
Look, I'm loath to give numbers because we're dependent upon so many factors. One is the ability of all our suppliers to ramp up their volumes to an acceptable quality. We don't want just lots of parts coming in and they don't fit well. We need to go through those quality loops to ensure the quality is right. So we'll be taking a close look at that. But clearly, I mean, we've got a factory now which has got very close to a 90,000 per annum installed capacity. Air and Gravity can go down the same line. So I'm hugely optimistic to have a significant increase in volume.
When does that 90,000 capacity, what is the time frame for hitting that, for the Arizona plant?
We're on the cusp of it. We've sequenced that, synced that for the advent of Gravity. And for Gravity, there was always three factors: get the product right, get the factory ready, and get all the supply base ready. Now,
and you've mentioned and you've touched on supply chain challenges.
Yes.
That makes me think, and others probably, of the challenges that Rivian is facing, one of your competitors, with some supply chain snarls that they're facing. Mm-hmm. And that's hit production. Are you seeing anything similar so far as you build out the Gravity?
Look, when you build a complex product like a car, you have 200 to 300 suppliers from right around the world, literally thousands of parts. It's inevitable that any stage of that, you're going to have some challenges, and it's all about risk mitigation. It's how you face up to these challenges and overcome them. And what I would say is Gravity in the last 16 months has not slipped a single day. And man, we face some challenges. So this is a testament to the team's resolve and professionalism to keep this thing on track. Every single day this year, I've chaired a Gravity meeting in my office to keep this program on the rails, and that's what we've done. So we've got our second platform. It's just 3 years and 2 months after our first platform, Lucid Air. I'm not sure if anyone's ever done that as a new company.
What is the market for EVs? Clearly, the demand has slowed from targets that many had put out there. We're seeing that in Europe. We're seeing that in the US. It's increasingly competitive with incumbents and then the startups like Lucid. What gives you that competitive edge in a challenged market right now?
So the numbers are actually up. It's just that they're not up as much as many had predicted. A good analogy is the rate of inflation can go down, but the actual cost of things go up because there's still inflation. Yeah. So I believe this is an incredible opportunity. I think that the public has been ill-served by underwhelming EVs. I think we have something hugely differentiating. Gravity's coming along, a true landmark product, a 7-seater for adults with 120 cubic feet of luggage space, incredible driving dynamics. And I'd like to tell you now for the first time that we now have a proper official EPA estimate range, and it is 450 miles. And what's really significant is how we're achieving that 450. We're achieving it with a relatively modest battery pack, the same 6,600 cells that we've got in our Lucid Air architecture, the 924 volts. We've got a little bit more energy in each cell, which puts the energy capacity of the pack now up to 123 kilowatt hours. But to get that 450 miles range with a full 7-seater, with just 123 kilowatt hours. That's true technology prowess, and it's true environmentalism.
Okay, 450 miles is the range. That's the official number.
It is.
And you've just given that to us here in this conversation. Talk to us about the mass market opportunity for Lucid. Rivian, Tesla pushing into that sub $30,000 category. What is the mass market opportunity for you at this point?
Yeah, so you've got to understand why Lucid exists. We're not here just to make high-end luxury cars. This is a complete misunderstanding. We're here to advance technology which will benefit all mankind, and the way we're doing that is addressing the fundamental big-ticket item of building an electric car for a family, and that is the cost of the battery. And that's a function of how big that battery is. Because Lucid's technology enables us to go further with less batteries, it means that we can do a competitive range with much less batteries than the competition, and that will drive the cost down. And that is our commercial advantage. Our technology advantage leads to a profound commercial advantage. So it's always been the plan. We do Air and Gravity first, and then comes the big one, mid-size, which is scheduled for start of production late 26. And we're readying a factory in Saudi Arabia for 150,000 capacity as we speak, and we'll put that both into Saudi and into Arizona.
Okay, so the mid-size is the mass market proposition.
Absolutely.
For Lucid. Do you think you can get it out before Rivian comes through with the R2? That's also scheduled for 2026.
Yes. I'm not sure what their timeline looks like. Well, let's see. Bring it on.
Okay, bring it on. How are you planning to fund that mass market vehicle then?
Well, we have two key differentiating factors. We have the best technology in the world, and we have the PIF, the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, who stood shoulder to shoulder with us through countless rounds of funding. This year, in 2024 fiscal year, we've raised over $4 billion. We secured a round in October of just under $1.75 billion. We now announced that we're exiting Q3 this year with $5.16 billion of liquidity, which gives us a financial runway well into 2026. So this is securing a bright future for the company.
Okay, so that runway gets you to that mass market proposition in 2026?
Not really, because the start of production of the mid-size will be late 26. So there is a gap.
Okay, and you will presumably be going back to the Saudis to try and fill that gap?
Well, I think we will go back to whatever is the most entrepreneurial and prudent route. We've said that we will raise funds opportunistically and entrepreneurially when market conditions are appropriate. And I've been very clear about that throughout.
If the Trump administration pulls that $7,500 credit from EVs, does that change that mass market plan for you, your strategy, in any way?
I don't think it does. I really don't, because I think we've got a significant value proposition in our smaller battery packs. Now, that contribution does help, but if you look at our current scenario, we're selling a high-end car, which, except for leasing, is ineligible for that $7,500. So Lucid is actually relatively the most immune to such a loss of the startups. But I'm not discounting it. It's still a valuable contribution.
Are you worried about Elon Musk's proximity to Trump, that he could leverage that and get an unfair advantage in this market?
Look, I think that both Trump and Elon Musk are very accomplished businessmen. And there is a business imperative for jobs in America. And what we're doing is creating great jobs, high-tech jobs in automotive. Take away EVs, it's a car. It's automotive jobs in middle America. Great, high-quality, high-tech jobs. What is not compelling for a businessman in that thesis?
What is the EU strategy, the Europe strategy for Lucid?
Well, we're growing. We're growing gradually and organically. We've just appointed a new head of Europe, Mr. Lawrence Hamilton, who started last week, and I think he's going to be huge and make a significant impact for European sales for us.
China remains the largest market, the largest auto market in the world.
Yeah.
Do you talk about China? Do you talk about a plan to enter the Chinese market?
I'd love to. Listen, it's the big prize, but it's where angels fear to tread. So I'm in 8 markets already. let's really not bite off more than we can chew right here. I think it's prudent to grow within those markets first and to grow brand awareness. We've got the best car in the world. Not enough people know about it. Just imagine if we had a lousy product and we were trying to over-promote that. It's a lack of awareness. In Europe, our car is just the machine for the Autobahn. And the Germans should fall in love with an Autobahn EV. And they're just not aware of it.
Would you consider, given the slowdown in EV adoption that we're seeing in Europe and the US, would you consider a hybrid powertrain at any point for Lucid?
Not for us, no. We're fully committed. I think that battery electric is the right solution. I think hybrids are the worst of all worlds. And I think that hydrogen fuel cells is just a dumb solution.
And would you consider at any point a partner in this auto market to share costs, to share intellectual property? Is that something that's been discussed that you would ever consider?
I would welcome that. I mean, we've already got the partnership with Aston Martin. We're supplying Aston Martin's electric future for their hypercars with our Sapphire technology, and we're in talks at the moment with a couple of OEs for such partnerships. And it would be lovely if we could supply technology to a traditional car company to help them on their way to sustainability, and perhaps we can leverage economies of scale with their parts bin and other aspects of the business, yeah.
Any conversations along those lines?
Yes, absolutely. We're having those conversations.